Hey y'all, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the big question that Roland Martin asked Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard on his show yesterday. He specifically asked her, and I think maybe the only question he followed up on was about her relationship with the charity. And you can kind of go on his channel, Roland Martin, or some of the other videos, or the video to that interview is actually in this breakdown playlist, the playlist to the breakdown show on this channel. So you can check that interview out there. But Tiffany blatantly denied having any affiliation with the Tiffany Henyard Cares charity. We all know that to be a lie. So I was actually doing a little research because I was looking at an old meeting from Thornton Township where there was one trustee who didn't have a name badge. And when I went to the Thornton Township website, there was one trustee who didn't have a picture and did not have any kind of description or anything about them. So that led me to this article in which Fox 32 Chicago wrote Dane Placko, who's been working on this story, in May of 2023, specifically May 31st, 2023. This article was published on fox32chicago.com. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. First thing we're going to do, obviously, is watch this video. I'm going to scroll through the first half of this article, but I do definitely want to read excuse me, a very important piece that highlights the affiliation between that missing trustee and Tiffany Henyard. I think it's important to note as we prepare for this incarceration party.
We are walking all over cancer on our way to Springfield. Make sure you support the cause, support the movement.
The South suburban politician spends taxpayer dollars on a march to Springfield to promote her personal charity. But when we started asking questions, the party's over.
Fox 32 and the Illinois Answers Project, part of the Better Government Association, are investigating the charitable foundation of Tiffany Henyard, who is on two public payrolls as Dalton mayor and Thornship Township supervisor.
What we found is raising serious questions about the use of taxpayers' dollars, employees, and equipment. Fox 32's Dane Placko investigates where all that money is going.
Nobody knows something. Don't nobody know nothing.
Tiffany Henyard certainly isn't shy about attracting attention. Here she is starting a Dalton Village board meeting dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City, later punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
Henyard's picture and name adorn virtually every public posting, both from Dalton, where as mayor she makes $46,000 a year, and in Thornton Township, where as the elected supervisor she collects more than $200,000 a year. But for all that money, Henyard's tenure at both has been chaotic, with firings, scandals, and a legal battle with the Dalton trustees over spending. So last fall, Henyard did something that would seemingly generate some good publicity, helping establish the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation to help breast cancer patients. And on the very day the charity was chartered, it received a huge donation, $10,000, from the Thornton Township Board, which Henyard presides over.
Taxpayer money shouldn't be paid into those types of things.
Stephanie Wiedemann is the former Thornton Township Chief of Staff, whom Henyard fired shortly after taking over in March of last year.
It almost felt like a takeover, and a very aggressive one at that.
Since her firing, Wiedemann has been documenting township spending and says she's stunned by the taxpayer dollars funneled into Henyard's charity, especially this.
We got 10 days. We're going 196 miles.
Last October, Henyard led a delegation of Dalton and Thornton Township employees and political supporters on a march to Springfield to promote her breast cancer charity, which she documented on her Facebook page.
We're walking through those. All right, we're Brightwood now. We are in Godly now. We in Bloomington, baby.
I can pretty much map out their entire Springfield trip on the township credit cards.
That's right. Henyard billed thousands of dollars in hotel rooms and meals during the trip to Thornton Township and Dalton credit cards. In addition, the videos show Henyard used multiple village and township vehicles owned by taxpayers to escort the caravan, including a flatbed trailer with a photographer, flying a drone, and a DJ.
We got our band right here coming from Dalton, Illinois, walking all the way to Springfield. Y'all make some noise for our man, the people's man.
But they didn't always walk.
We on motorbikes, baby.
At times, riding electric bikes.
Y'all see my bike?
Our township supervisor.
It looks like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest concern.
Dalton trustee Jason House has been doing battle with the mayor since she took office.
Very disturbing to hear these things or to kind of see some of the receipts that appear to be connected to it. And I think the taxpayers really deserve better than that.
And then there's the merch.
This shirt. Want a t-shirt?
Along the way, Henyard sold and gave away t-shirts and hoodies, also available on her charity's website. A week before the trip, the township paid $17,000 for specially printed hoodies and t-shirts, but won't say what they're for.
I think that everything she has initiated has been something to promote her, something to get her name in household, something to get people to buy into voting for her.
Our investigation found at least $11,000 in public funds spent on that trip. But both Dalton and Thornton Township have been slow or unresponsive to open records requests. Oh, what was the purpose of the 10-day march to Springfield?
I have created a bill, which we're going to speak before the Revenue Committee to give everybody $5,000 on their income taxes when they file if you are suffering from cancer.
A noble goal, except the Revenue Committee wasn't meeting when the group arrived in Springfield. Henyard did later testify at a committee hearing in Chicago, but so far nothing has come of her bill.
I think I'm doing a damn good job on leave.
So we went to a recent Thornton Township Board meeting to ask Henyard some questions about all that spending.
I've never ever been bitter to the news. This is my olive branch to the media. Can you guys reach out to us and ask us our opinion before you post it? I would appreciate it.
And so we did. I'll ask you a few questions.
Okay.
But Henyard wasn't anxious to talk about her charity. Why did you and the board vote to give your foundation $10,000?
I'm the face of the foundation. My name is nowhere, sir. I'm the face.
You're the face. What was the purpose of going to Springfield?
Hey, you guys. Hey, she doesn't have any more comments, guys.
We're going to talk.
She doesn't have any more comments. Thanks, guys.
That's Keith Freeman, whom Henyard hired at both Dalton and Thornton Township and was part of her Springfield walk.
Look at Keith, baby!
Freeman also filed paperwork for the charity bearing Henyard's name. Why are you using public money for your personal charity?
$17,000 for insurance.
Thank you.
And with that, her security detail hustled Henyard upstairs and blocked the staircase with a table. So we tried asking another employee who went on that trip. You went down to Springfield, and what were you hoping to do in
You need to ask the
Springfield?
people that handles that. I'm not the one that handles it. I was just riding the bike. We need more officers on the streets. We need our streets repaved. So to spend that kind of money on a charitable event or supposed charitable event really doesn't seem like the best use of tax dollars.
We also sent Henyard a detailed list of questions about her charity and how the money is being used. We've not yet heard back. Dane, Placko, Fox 32 Chicago.
All right, so I guess that would be a great comprehensive review of what's going on. If Roland Martin has any questions, I would definitely recommend he consult this video because the answers to those questions are here, laid out right here. So let's take a look at this article real quick. Let me turn my... I don't know why my so I need to plug in my iPad. So let's take a look at this article. And there is I wanted to focus on the part that starts with where it says Henyard wears 2 hats in local government. As a Dalton mayor, she takes home more than $46,000 in base pay, And as the supervisor of Thornton Township, she makes more than $200,000 a year, records show. An Illinois Answers Project and Fox 32 investigation found that while in office, Henyard has funneled thousands of dollars. And they don't have to say allegedly. Do you notice this? There's no allegedly. I'm going to read it as it's written. An Illinois Answers Project and Fox 32 investigation found that while in office, Henyard has, not allegedly, but has funneled thousands of dollars in tax money to a private foundation that bears her name. Says the organization helps people with cancer. The officers of the foundation are people who work for the township or the village only, other than her boyfriend. Spent has, I'm going to read it the way it's written. An Illinois Answers Project and Fox 32 investigation found that while in office, Henyard has spent thousands of taxpayer dollars for a group bicycle ride to Springfield in support of a breast cancer bill, which, by the way, still has not been submitted to this day. Henyard said in videos taken during the trip, but the bill was never formally filed and state lawmakers weren't in session. That was also a lie. Now, an Illinois Answers Project and Fox 32 investigation found that while in office, Henyard has spent thousands of taxpayer dollars for not one, but 2 ice rinks. Did you know that? Where's the other one? Elected officials say they did not authorize either expenditure, which is on the record. In a September 2022 meeting, Henyard and the Township Board voted to give $10,000 to her foundation. Now, mind you, that is literally almost exactly still the same Township Board that voted her in office in 2021. But in September 2022, Henyard and the board voted to give $10,000 to her foundation, which means the folks who Dane Placko has read the meeting minutes. Okay, this information has been confirmed. It happened at a board meeting. It was the township board that co-signed that $10,000 moving from the taxpayers to Tiffany Henyard. I think that should be of note. Now, records show that the foundation's paperwork was filed with the state the same day that the township payment was approved. Documents show the foundation's officials are all people who work for the village or township. Dalton Village Manager Keith Freeman, who is a horrible rapper and has horrible style and makes way too much money to have bad skin, who is also her paid senior advisor at the township, filed the paperwork for the foundation. Dalton Housing Director William Moore and her executive assistant in Dalton, Carmen Carlisle, sits on the board. Now, here's the interesting thing about Carmen Carlisle. If you go to the Thornton Township website, you will see absolutely not a picture and not a piece of information about Carmen Carlisle. What you will see is her name in an empty box where a photo should be. You will see an empty space where there should be a question that answers how long she's been on the board. And if she was Tiffany Henyard, she'd have about a 1,000,000-mile long paragraph with no spaces and no context. But there's nothing there for Carmen Carlisle. Just her name, Carmen Carlisle. Carmen Carlisle also happens to be the one trustee that was sitting on the board in this video I just saw with no name tag. I'm like, that makes no sense. Well, Carmen Carlisle is also Tiffany Henyard's assistant. Now, here's another very interesting thing. Carmen Carlisle, according to Dr. Nikita Cloud, is also smoking up the asbestos in one of Tiffany Henyard's slums as her tenant. Yes, she is all wrapped up with Tiffany Henyard. Her children eat the must off of Tiffany Henyard's underarms. Do you hear me? There is no way their mother could twist or turn. And yes, she does look like a crackhead too. I ain't gonna hold you. Go find out for yourself. The video is in the breakdown playlist. She's the only one there without a name badge. And yes, she looked like she been out there too. She might be a client as well. So let's continue. I'm sure that name will come back up. Carmen Carlisle, because I like saying it. Thornton Township employee Cheryl Schwartz. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Cheryl Schranz, Pamela Earhart, and Kamal Woods are also nonprofit board members. So Kamal Woods is also a Thornton Township employee now. So her boyfriend is also a Is that nepotism? Is that a conflict of interest to hire your lover in a role in government, but also on your board? Okay, that's nasty. Some of us, you just don't mix that business and that pleasure, man. That's how you keep your life happy. So anyway, excuse me, Woods and Earhart declined to comment. Schranz, Carlisle, and Moore did not respond to multiple messages. And Freeman told an Illinois Answers reporter, "You're barking up the wrong tree, buddy." I'm sure that's how he said it too. Because that's the most exact professional response. Henyard and others, including a DJ and a photographer flying a drone, took an e-bike ride over a week last October from Dalton to Springfield so she could testify on behalf of a bill that she hoped would give tax breaks to people suffering from cancer. The timing for the ride, though, was off. The bill that Henyard's caravan was heading to Springfield to support was never filed. And when they got there, the state legislature wasn't in session yet. You never saw her mention that in the video. Now, I was involved in an adventure like that where I was with a group who did a die-in. We were submitting a bill to reject, I believe it was HB 27, which was going to limit the availability of body cam footage to only being requested by attorneys instead of just the families of those killed by the police. We did that die-in. Somebody met us at the door, took all of our roses that represent all the black people that have been murdered in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they let us know that someone would speak to us, and we said on camera that we were not able to speak to anyone directly, but what we gave them was received. Accurate, super accurate. That's how you do business, okay? That's how you do business. And this was not a nonprofit organization. This was not one organization, because that's not how we roll. No, this was not an organization. There was no face on it. There was no name on it. This was just some concerned citizens who got together to do what needed to be done. But anyway, let me continue. I just wanted to speak to my experience when it comes to the accuracy of something you're trying to do failing in the process and reporting that back to the people who support you. Now, it continues to say, days after checking out of a Springfield hotel, probably a little cummy, Henyard appeared before the House's Revenue and Finance Committee, which met in Chicago. and told them her nonprofit supports the fight for everyone. Her nonprofit supports the fight. Now, mind you, this article came out in May of last year, before she denied her involvement. So in this article, it's completely assumed that she is. There's no reason to dispute it. They don't even have to prove anything because these are her words. Why would, if she's just the face, y'all, why would she go all the way to Chicago? I know it's only up the street, but why would she, use the taxpayers' money to pay a stylist and pay a makeup artist and a hairdresser, pay for transportation and the food and the hotel and everything that came with, the cocaine and everything that came with going to Chicago to have this conversation? I'm sure she went there as the mayor of Dalton and the superintendent of Thornton with her $600 per day per diem. I guarantee you she banked off of that trip. Now, again, she told them that her nonprofit supports the fighter in everyone. Never said how, though. Nothing qualitative, nothing quantitative, none of that. We just gonna talk like we preach in a sermon with nothing specific, nothing exact, just something that makes people feel good. Okay. Now, records show Henyard authorized a separate $17,000 payment from the township for 1,000 white hoodies and t-shirts. Neither Henyard nor the shirt maker would comment. So she got the shirt maker locked up too. I'm sure the feds have talked to them by now. Would comment on whether the clothing was for the foundation. The invoice for the hoodies and t-shirts was submitted one day after the paperwork for Henyard's foundation was submitted to the state, which means she had already been doing business on behalf of this foundation before the paperwork was even filed. See, because the thing is, the paperwork being filed doesn't mean it's a done deal. If you have a foundation, there are days, weeks, there's a process. You don't just have a foundation because you submitted the paperwork, just like you don't have a job because you submitted an application. So she was definitely doing business in the foundation before it was concrete. Now she got the shirt maker all locked up. So the shirt maker would not comment on whether the clothing was for the foundation, although it says CARES on the back of it. The invoice for the hoodies and t-shirts was submitted one day after the paperwork for Henyard's foundation was submitted to the state. The township declined to answer questions about the clothing purchases, but provided one photo of a Henyard wearing a t-shirt. It says a Henyard. That's what it says, and I love it. Provided one photo of a Henyard, because this is how you talk when you read in legalese, and it looks to me as though this article might have been submitted or referred to some legal entities in the way that it's written. So I'm going to read it again, just the way that it's written. The township declined to answer questions about the clothing purchase, but provided one photo of a Henyard wearing a white t-shirt over the weekend to suggest that the purchase was for clothing with a township insignia and Henyard's name on it. Okay. So the township so she wore a t-shirt with the township insignia, and they're saying those $17,000 worth of cotton and ink were just for her on one t-shirt? Are we supposed to be that stupid? Because I'm offended. Documents obtained through a public records request, back when they were actually responding to them, Keith, show that Thornton Township spent about $8,800 on hotels, where? Restaurants and at other businesses statewide during the dates of the Springfield trip. Now this includes nearly $4,800 in hotels, $358 at Firehouse Subs, what the fuck, in Bloomington, $300 at Smoky Bones Bar and Fire Grill in Springfield. Village of Dalton officials spent another $2,700 on hotel rooms in Springfield during that same period. Neither village nor township officials would comment on the expenditures. Asked about her foundation by reporters from Illinois Answers and Fox 32, the Henyard, or A. Henyard, Henyard said a Thornton Township meeting on April 11th, at a Thornton Township meeting on April 11th, that she's the face of the foundation, but also my face is nowhere. Baby, you and Lil Wayne's face is everywhere, honey. It's everywhere. Near the operation or its leadership. What the fuck ever. It's a foundation I created to help people that struggle with cancer. Let me read that correctly. Quote. And if you know what that means, you know she said it. Quote, it's a foundation that I created to help people that struggle with cancer. It doesn't matter what type of cancer it is. End quote. Henyard said, quote, you know public funds are not going to fund my foundation, ellipsis. $10,000 is not going to fund our operation, end quote. Our operation. So you can't go back and say this didn't happen because it's right here. Okay? This conversation is in quotes, and if it's not correct, I guarantee you there would have been a lawsuit against Fox 32 Chicago or a retraction, and there hasn't been one. Now, at that meeting, Henyard targeted the media for showing up only for the mess. I'm not going to continue to read that part because that's some bullshit. She did. I think this must be the same meeting I was looking at because she said these things at that meeting that I was just looking at. Wow, that's crazy. So let's do this then. Let me show you the meeting that I'm talking about so that you can see. Excuse me. Let's go to the breakdown playlist and let's take a look at this.
So I'm putting up record straight so people understand what's going on.
Now that ain't straight.
From the horse's mouth and not from her or any bitter person or disgruntled employee. You're hearing it strictly. Are you bitter? That is what's going on here at the township. Now, I'm going to let Keith elaborate a little more about what is going on so people can understand what's happening. And news, stop writing about me and y'all ain't got y'all facts. Y'all wrote that I removed her from office and I did no such thing. I did not lock her in no office. I don't even have a dispute with that lady. So I wish people stop lying on my name. And I hope y'all write that. That's for your record when you do write this article about me. Because you only come here for the mess. You guys do not come here for anything positive that has been done in this township, such as we got a whole surplus when there's always been a deficit here in the township. Y'all didn't write that, right? And then when y'all want to know the truth about the township, y'all come here bring my line about the theft that's going on at the township before I became.
Let me say something because she said there was a surplus when there's always been a deficit. Well, currently there's a deficit at Thornton Township. So what happened?
The supervisor, but y'all not writing about none of that stuff. So stop. Keith, you got the floor.
Good evening, everyone. So to set this record straight, Supervisor Henyard in no way removed the assessor from her office. The supervisor has, the assessor has access to the assessor's office, which is located on this side of the building. She has a key fob that gets her in her office. Her office was relocated to an area so that we can take care of some business in her office area. She did not call and ask us why she was being relocated.
Okay, so while I'm here, let me not go into this other stuff because it's a different conversation about some other stupid shit she done. Let me show you who the person is that I am concerned about. I'm actually more concerned with her life.
Any information about that?
Because I
there
know
were no files left out. All of the files
this
were
lady
locked
right
up.
here.
Whoever took the files out, left them on the tables.
More than anything, I'm concerned for her life. This is Carmen Carlisle, who is Tiffany Henyard's assistant in Dalton. She is a trustee in Thornton, and she is also a tenant of Tiffany Henyard. So Tiffany Henyard either gonna get her with the lead in the paint, Or she gonna have Stacy run her over in one of those public works Fiats before they get repossessed? Or who knows what's gonna happen in Thornton, this township mess. Listen, this is crazy to me. This woman doesn't have a name tag, and her details are not on the village website. I'm sorry, the township website. Why is that? Why is that? Her name is there. Her name has not been removed, but she is the only trustee without a picture, without a name, or without a description, without saying how long they've been a trustee, without saying, giving any kind of bio, nothing. This lady right here, I am so concerned for her. And you're not going to tell me she don't look like she been out there. We're not going to play that game. We're not going to play that game. Well, anyway, for now, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. Bye, y'all.